إلا رحمة منا ومتاعا إلى حين. وإذا قيل لهم اتقوا ما بين أيديكم وما خلفكم لعلكم ترحمون. وما تأتيهم من آية من آيات ربهم إلا كانوا عنها معرضين. وإذا قيل لهم أنفقوا مما رزقكم الله قال الذين كفروا للذين آمنوا أنطعم من لو يشاء الله أطعمه إن أنتم إلا في ضلال مبين. ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين ما ينظرون إلا صيحة واحدة تأخذهم وهم يخصمون فلا يستطيعون توصية ولا إلى أهلهم يرجعون. ونفخ في الصور فإذا هم من الأجداث إلى ربهم ينسلون. قالوا يا ويلنا من بعثنا من مرقدنا هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم جميع لدينا محضرون. فاليوم لا تظلم نفس شيئا ولا تجزون إلا ما كنتم تعملون إن أصحاب الجنة اليوم في شغل فاكهون. هم وأزواج في ظلال على الأرائك متكئون لهم فيها فاكهة ولهم ما يدعون سلام قولا من رب رحيم. وامتازوا اليوم أيها المجرمون ألم أعهد إليكم يا بني آدم أن لا تعبدوا الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين وأن اعبدوني هذا صراط مستقيم. ولقد أضل منكم جبلا كثيرا أفلم تكونوا تعقلون هذه جهنم التي كنتم توعدون اصلوا اليوم بما كنتم تكفرون اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون. ولو نشاء لطمسنا على أعينهم فاستبقوا الصراط فأنى يبصرون. ولو نشاء لمسخناهم على مكانة فما استطاعوا مضيا ولا يرجعون. ومن نعمره ننكسه في الخلق أفلا يعقلون. وما علمناه الشعر وما ينبغي له إن هو إلا ذكر وقرآن مبين لينذر من كان حيا ويحق القول على الكافرين. أولم يروا أنا خلقنا لهم مما عملت أيدينا أنعاما فهم لها مالكون وذللناها لهم فمنها ركوبهم ومنها يأكلون ولهم فيها منافع ومشارب أفلا يشكرون. واتخذوا من دون الله آلهة لعلهم ينصرون لا يستطيعون نصرا وهم لهم جند محضرون فلا يحزنك قولهم إنا نعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون. أولم يرى الإنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هم خصيم مبين وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رميم قل يحييها الذي أنشأها أول مرة وهو بكل خلق عليم الذي جعل لكم من الشجر الأخضر نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم بلى وهو الخلاق العليم إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون صدق الله العلي العظيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
محمد وآل محمد صلوات محمد وآل محمد. برائے خوشنودی سید الشہداء علیہ السلام بلند ترین صلوات پڑھے ہیں. اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل قطرے کو رہیں میں بغیر مواج نہ کر قطرے کو رہیں میں بغیر مواج نہ کر خوددار یہ نادار کو تاراج نہ کر خوددار یہ نادار کو تاراج نہ کر معبود تجھے دستے ید اللہ کی قسم معبود تجھے دستے ید اللہ کی قسم اس ہاتھ کا محتاج نہ کر معبود تجھے دستے ید اللہ کی قسم اس ہاتھ کا محتاج نہ کر قطرے کو رغی میں. فاتحہ نظر شہدائے کربلا. برائے خوشنودی امام زمان علیہ السلام بلند ترین صلوات پڑھے ہیں اللہ اقربا کٹ گئے جب شاغ کے باری باری اقربا کٹ گئے جب شاغ کے باری باری اور عدم چلنے کی اس شاغ نے کی تیاری اور عدم چلنے کی اس شاغ نے کی تیاری خیمے کا پردہ اٹھا زین البائک باری خیمے کا پردہ اٹھا زین البائک باری دیکھ مقتل کی طرف کرنے لگا یوں زاری خلد کے کوچ میں ہم کو نہیں بلواتے ہو قافلے والوں ہمیں چھوڑے چلے جاتے ہو عاشق کا نام رغا کوئی بھی یاور باقی نہ علمدار رہے اور نہ لشکر باقی نہ رہے قاسم جرار نہ اکبر باقی ہے فقط سبت نبی کا سر انور باقی ہم تو باقی غیر غم و رنج اٹھانے کے لیے موت نے چھوڑا ہمیں اشک بہانے کے لیے ہائے شبیر کے مرنے کی ہے اب تیاری، زخم پر زخم لگے ہیں تن شغ پر کاری، بھوک میں پیاس میں غش آتے ہیں سو سو باری، بیچ میں ابن علی گرد کھڑے گئے ناری، اپنی بیماری پر شرمندہ پہ سر ہوتا گئے، قتل اب سامنے بیٹے کے پدر ہوتا ہے، ہائے بابا کو میرے کوئی بچا لیا کرے، پھیر دلا کے گلے پر میرے کوئی خنجر، بعد بابا کے پسر کا نہیں جینا بہتر، باپ تو قتل ہو جیتا رہے یہ خستہ جگر، اہل بیت نبوی پر یہ جفائیں ہوں گی، بلوائے عام میں سر پر ناردائیں ہوں گی، اقربا کٹ گئے۔
For yourselves, for all your marhameen, for all the mu'mineen around the world, for their protection, for this person who is in ICU, for their health and recovery, Muhammad Raza, son of Mohsin Raza, for all the ulama, shuhada, sulaha, anyone who has ever served Islam, Fatiha. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم حسبي الله ونعم الوكيل نعم المولى ونعم النصير أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه وأعوذ به من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد والثناء لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وشفيع ذنوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجه ثم الصلاة والسلام على أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين لا سيما سيدي ومولاي بقية الله في الأراضين روحي وأرواح العالم له الفداء رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي أعظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم. Condolences to all of you and your families on these nights of the Shahada of Abi Abdullah alayhi salatu wasalam, and especially these nights when the women and the haram of Abi Abdullah alayhi salatu wasalam were taken captive. So we were talking about Ashura, the pinnacle of companionship. And we discussed this yesterday, but I will briefly summarize inshallah. We started off by talking about how important it is for us to be able to look at Karbala, look at Ashura, look at Muharram in a way where we're able to extract principles, extract lessons from it, and that it does not become something that's a cultural practice for us. And there's a verse in the Quran that says, فَقْصُصِ الْقَصَصِ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. O Holy Prophet, tell them about the stories of the previous prophets. Tell them about the stories of what happened before. لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. With the hope that the mu'mineen, with the hope that the people who have brought iman, they think about these stories. They think about these stories. And the obvious consequence would that be that they understand the stories, they understand history, they understand how things work in this world. So they can then extract the principles, they can then extract the lessons and not make the same mistakes. So this was point number one that we talked about yesterday. Then we talked about companionship. And we say when we talk about companionship in general terms, it might have different meanings. But when we talk about it in the context of Karbala, we see that we can look at it from two different sides. The companionship from Abi Abdullah alayhi salatu wasalam towards the people who were with him, or the people towards Abi Abdullah. And we said that from the side of Abi Abdullah alayhi salatu wasalam, if the quality of the mu'mineen that is mentioned in the Quran, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna Allah yuhibbu tawabin, yuhibbu al-muttaqeen, yuhibbu al-sabirin, yuhibbu al-mutawakkilin, yuhibbu al-mutatahhirin, that certainly have no doubt that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves the ones who purify themselves. He loves the one who do tawbah and come back to the path. He loves the ones who are patient when they're tested. He loves the one who do tawakkul on him, and so on and so forth. And because Abi Abdullah and the other ma'asumeen are the best of the manifestations of Allah's attributes, therefore they also have nothing but love for mu'mineen and the people who have attributes like that. So from this side, there's nothing we need to worry about, because Abi Abdullah, if there is a mu'min with these qualities, or a mu'min that is trying to pursue these qualities, then his companionship for his ashab is guaranteed. Is guaranteed. What about the other way? And we talked about the verses from Surah Baqarah where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَالنَّقْصٍ مِّنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ وَبَشِّرَ الصَّابِرِينَ. That remember, message of the Quran for you and I, because the Quran is not for 1400 years ago, but till the end of time. The Quran is telling you and I that we will definitely test you. Sometimes we will test you with fear. Sometimes we'll test you with hunger. Sometimes we'll test you with loss of belongings and money. Sometimes we'll test you with loss of life, whether it's someone that you know or your own life. And sometimes we'll test you with the loss of the thamarat, the blessings of Allah. وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ. And what He expects you and I to do is to be patient. So we talked about this, and we said that because the Quran in this verse talks about that we will definitely test you. And in Surah Mulk, Surah number 67, verse number 2, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, الَّذِي خَلَقَ الْمَوْتَ وَالْحَيَاةَ لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. That the reason, He says that this is the purpose, that He even created life and death, لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ, to test you, أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا, which ones of you will be the best in their actions. And therefore, if you and I want to be considered like the 72 in Karbala and become companions of the Imam of our time, then we will be tested. And if we're able to nurture these qualities within ourselves, then yes, inshallah, we will be of those who will be standing with our Imams. And that is why this discussion of companionship is so important. Because each and every mu'min today, they long to become the companion of the 12th Imam. Ajjalallahu ta'ala farajahu sharif. But it's a misunderstanding, it's a misconception if we think that just by reading the Dua Faraj, just by reading the Dua Ahad, just by coming for Majalis, just by doing these things without ma'rifah, without understanding, without feeling it in our hearts, without creating, nurturing a relationship with our Imam, without talking to our Imam, without crying for our Imam, without crying to Allah, talking to Allah, that all of a sudden when the Imam comes back we'll be able to turn a switch on and we'll be able to just become a companion of His. These are realities that live with you and I. Our actions have consequences, which is a reality that lives with you and I. And that is why some ulama say that the heaven and hell is not something that after the Day of Judgment there'll be a heaven over here and a hell over there, and you open the door and you either enter here or there. These are realities that you and I carry with us based on our actions. Based on our actions. So similarly, when the Imam inshallah comes, we will not be able to just all of a sudden switch around and be a new person. Yes, although in Karbala we see the example of Hur. We see the example of Hur. But sometimes the entire story of Hur is not mentioned. That's why we think, yeah, he was a big sinner, and all of a sudden on the morning of Ashura his mind changed. But when you look at the history of Hur, you see that even before Karbala, he came to Umar ibn Sa'd, he came to Ibn Ziyad, and he said, is there no way we can just resolve this? Do we really have to go out and do this? This is the son of the daughter of the Holy Prophet. When Abi Abdullah alayhi salatu wasalam told him on the night of Ashura that may your mother sit in your gham, what did Hur say? He said, if there was anyone else from the Arabs other than you, I would have said the same thing. But because your mother is Zahra, Salamullah alayha, because your mother is Zahra, I can't say anything. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So we understand that there was something in the heart of Hur. He wasn't doing all of this because he really wanted to or believed in it. Rather, he believed in something else. Yes, perhaps he wasn't strong enough from the get-go to be able to deal with the circumstances. And that is why he was the one who came and stopped the army of Abi Abdullah alayhi salatu wasalam from the water. But the point is this, that we should not expect that on the last day, we will just all of a sudden will be able to turn on a switch and become the companions of our Imam. Rather, that is something that we need to build and nurture within ourselves. And until we see the qualities of the companions of Abi Abdullah alayhi salatu wasalam in Karbala, it becomes very difficult for us to understand what exactly am I supposed to do. Are these not the companions that Abi Abdullah alayhi salatu wasalam said that these are the best of the companions? So should we not look at them and try to extract rules or principles from them and take lessons from them? So when my day comes, because the Quran explicitly says, وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ, every single one of you will be tested. And one of the tests for the mu'mineen and the Muslimin is when the Hujjatullah, when the Khalifatullah calls you. When the Hujjatullah takes a stance, do I have it within me to be able to stand with him or not? And this is a concern that each and every one of us should be concerned about and be worried about. Do I have a lifestyle? Do I have it within me? Have I purified myself? Have I understood what deen and what Islam really wants from me? And am I able to practice that and replicate that in my own lives? So that is why this discussion of companionship is really important. And we see that these 72 companions in Karbala, the status that they have is because they were able to build themselves, was because they were able to work on themselves. And we see that even within these shuhada, there's various levels. There's various levels. And if for us they are role models, then for them the role model is Abul Fadl al-Abbas. Abbas is at that epitome of companionship towards a ma'soom. Abbas is the perfect manifestation of basira, insight, of ma'rifah, of loyalty, wafa. And when we look at what Abbas did before Karbala and in Karbala, it becomes clear that this is what a true companion should be like. And this, we mentioned this yesterday, but I'll just reiterate that when I say companionship over here, it includes, it just doesn't mean ashab as opposed to the Bani Hashim, but anyone and everyone who was there to support Abi Abdullah alayhi salam and his message. And we see that Abul Fadl al-Abbas was at the top of those ranks. And these are not just because some form of khitabat that we're trying to get everyone excited about Abul Fadl al-Abbas. No, these are riwayat. These are ahadith from the Ma'sumin alayhimus salam. And inshallah I'll go through a few of them. One from the 4th Imam, one from the 6th Imam, and one from the 12th Imam. Ajjalallahu ta'ala farajahu sharif. Sayyid al-Sajidin alayhi salam says, Inna lil-Abbas inda Allahi tabaraka wa ta'ala manzilatan yaghbituhu biha jami'u shuhada yawm al-qiyamah. That for Abbas, in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there's a status, there's a station that all the shuhada, not just the shuhada of Karbala, the shuhada from Uhud, from Badr, from here, from there, till this day, Jami'u shuhada, they will look at the status of Abbas and they would wish that they could be at that level. This is how high Abbas's level would be. Not just ordinary people like myself will be looking at his status. The shuhada, Imam al-Sajjad is saying, يَغْبِطُهُ بِهَا جَمِيعُ الشُّهَدَاء يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. So what is it? Is it just because he was the last person to go? No, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not give these stations so randomly. It's a reality that if within Abbas he was able to nurture that, if he was able to build that for himself, then a natural consequence of that will be that he will be blessed and rewarded with a station that is so high. That is so high. And if we look through these words, inshallah, we'll see what kind of things he did that the Imams say that he had such a high level. Imam al-Hujjah alayhi salatu wassalam, ajjalallahu ta'ala faraj al-sharif. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajjal farajah. He says in Ziyarah Nahiya Muqaddasa, he says, Assalamu ala Abil Fadl al-Abbas ibn Amir al-Mu'mineen المواسى أخاه بنفسه الآخذ لغده من أمسه الفادي له الواقي. He says, my salam be on Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas, the son of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhim as-salam. Who is this Abbas? Al-Muwasa akhahu binafsih, the one who sacrificed himself for his brother. Sacrificed himself for his brother. What else, O Imam? Al-akhidhu lighadihi min amsi, the one who prepared for his tomorrow from his yesterday. He prepared for his tomorrow from his yesterday. Al-fadi lahu al-waqi. He was the one who sacrificed himself, gave everything he had, and he was the protector of his brother and his imam. Of his brother and his imam. Abbas is someone who understands, and we talked about this yesterday, that if a mu'min wants to become a companion of the imam, since the imam, the ma'soom, is the Qur'anun natiq, a mu'min, a true mu'min, can never be someone who separates themselves from the Qur'an. A true mu'min can never be someone who does not read the Qur'an, understand the Qur'an, ponder and contemplate over the Qur'an. أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ أَمْ عَلَىٰ قُلُوبِهِنْ أَخْفَالُهَا. The Qur'an says, do they not contemplate the Qur'an? Or are there locks on their heart that Iblis doesn't allow them to move any further? Now the Qur'an is presuming over here that we are of those people who are reciting the Qur'an. God forbid if we're of those people who have no sort of relationship with the Qur'an. We don't even recite the Qur'an. The simplest form of having uns or a relationship with the Qur'an is just looking at it or reciting it. After that is translation, understanding it, especially for us who don't understand the Arabic language. After that is pondering upon it, contemplating it. أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ. After that is being able to execute and take lessons from that and apply it in my lives. See how far away we sometimes are from the reality of the Qur'an? The Qur'an is saying, do they not contemplate the Qur'an? Oh Allah, sorry, I don't even open up the Qur'an. I don't even recite the Qur'an. If I recite the Qur'an, I don't understand the Qur'an. If I understand the Qur'an, then yes, I do not do tadabbur on the Qur'an. If I'm blessed with that tadabbur and I spend a few minutes trying to think about it and how it applies to me, then sorry Allah, I don't ever get to the point where I actually apply these principles of the Qur'an in my life. Whereas the Holy Book is saying what? That we sent you this Qur'an. نَزَّلْنَا عَلَيْكَ الْكِتَابِ تِبْيَانًا لِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ. That we sent the Qur'an as a clarification for all things. And وَهُدًى وَبُشْرًى وَهُدًى وَرَحْمَةً وَبُشْرًى لِلْمُسْلِمِينَ. And it's a form of guidance. If you don't know where to go in life, if you don't know how to improve, if you don't know how to get closer to the Ma'asumeen, if you don't know how to increase the love of Allah in our hearts, then the Quran is saying, come to the Quran. It's the huda, it's the guidance. If I feel like the pressures of life don't allow me to move forward, I have no contentment and satisfaction in my life, the Quran is saying, the rahmah is in the Quran. Ala bi dhikrillahi tatma'innul qulub. If you're looking for contentment, if you're looking for happiness, if you're looking for satisfaction, if you're trying to get away from the anxiety and the depression and everything that's taking over the world, ala bi dhikrillahi tatma'innul qulub. If you want that itminan in your qalb, it is only and only through the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Oh Allah, what does the dhikr mean? There's details in the Quran. So Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas alaykum salam. Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas is someone who has not only read the Quran, but he also, to an extent, you can consider, is the Quran an-Natiq? Yes, he's not a ma'soom in the sense that the 14 ma'soomeen are. But this is a person whose life reflects the verses of the Quran. Verses of the Quran. In Surah Hashr, which is Surah number 59, verse number 18, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ittaqullah. O people who have brought iman, be wary of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, practice taqwa, wal tanzur nafsun ma qaddamat lighad. And every nafs should see what they have sent forward for tomorrow. Sent forward for tomorrow. What is the Imam saying? Imam al-Hujjah alayhi salam saying about Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas, al-akhidu lighadihi min amse. This is a person who's extracted from his yesterday, who's gained from his yesterday for his tomorrow. وَلِتَنْظُرْ نَفْسٌ مَا قَدَّمَتْ لِغَدٍ. And that's a duty for each and every one of us. And Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas is showing us, yes, after the Ma'asumeen, we're not talking about the Ma'asumeen, because we're talking about people who are other than the Ma'asumeen, who can step up. And how can we step up to become the companion of our Imam? So one of the lessons what we learn from Abu al-Fadl alayhi salatu wasalam's life is that we should be people who take lessons, who gain from yesterday, and we send it forward for tomorrow. We send it forward for tomorrow. This is a person, al-muwasa akhahu binafsihi. He gave his life for his Imam, for his brother. Not because Hussein was his brother, because Hussein was the Hujjatullah, because Hussein was the standard bearer of the truth during Abbas's time. It was not only because he was his brother, it's because Hussein was the Imam. Hussein was the Khalifatullah fi ardi during his time. Hussein was the representative of haqq. Hussein was the representative of truth. And Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas was able to get himself to align with the truth. Surah Baqarah, Surah number 2, verse number 147. Al-haqqu min rabbik. If you're looking for the truth, then the truth is only from your Lord. فَلَا تَكُونَنَّ مِنَ الْمُمْتَرِينَ. Then don't be of those people who become skeptical with regards to the truth. Who become skeptical with regards to the truth. And Abbas knew that when the Quran says, Al-haqqu min rabbik, then the haqq will always be with the Khalifatullah. It will always be with the Hujjatullah, where there are not other people, even from the family of Hussein, who said, oh Hussein, why are you going out of Medina? Why are you going towards Kufa? Your life is in danger. But do you hear Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas saying that? No, because he knows that this is the representative of the truth on the entire earth. And whatever he does, it's not because of his own personal desires, but this is what Allah wants. This is what Allah wants. Did he not say to people on the path when he was coming to Karbala that Allah is the one who wants to see me maqtool? And they asked him, what about the women? Did he not say Allah is the one who wants these women folk, this haram of the Rasulullah to be able to be seen to be taken captive? Is he not the one, after see all the difficulties of the trip to Karbala, of the night of Karbala, of the entire day of Karbala, but still he says what? Ridan biqada'ihi wa tasliman li amri. Because Hussein is a ma'soom, he will always be with the truth. We have no doubt about that. But for a companion, for another person to be able to see that, that is what you and I need to look at. That is what you and I need to see today. That where this applies to me, how this applies to me, where is the truth? Is it here? Is it there? Is it there? Even ulama you will see coming and trying to pull you in different directions. But the Quran says what? If someone practices taqwa, ittaqullah yaj'al lahu furqana, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, yes, there are various paths that people are inviting you towards, but practice taqwa, come to the path of Allah, yaj'al lahu furqana. He will bless you. He will bless you with the ability to be able to see between the truth and the falsehood, between what is haqq and what is batil. And this is one of the responsibilities that you and I have towards the Imam of our time. Towards the Imam of our time. Imam al-Sajjad alayhi salatu wassalam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. He says, Rahim Allahu al-Abbas, may Allah have mercy on Abbas. فَلَقَدْ آثَرَ وَأَبْلَى وَفُدِيَ أَخَاهُ بِنَفْسِهِ وَفَدَى أَخَاهُ بِنَفْسِهِ حَتَّى قُطِعَتْ يَدَاهُ. May Allah's mercy be on Abbas. Why? Because he sacrificed and he was tested with the biggest bala, but he came through and he passed with flying colors. حَتَّى قُطِعَتْ يَدَاهُ. He even gave his arms away on the path of truth. On the path of truth. So again, a lesson over here is that if you want to even start pursuing the level of these ashab of Abi Abdullah alayhi salatu wasalam, we need to be ready to be tested. We need to be ready to be tested. And not just any regular tests, but the history of Karbala is in front of you. Look at the test that the ashab gave in the path of Abi Abdullah alayhi salatu wasalam. On the night of Ashura, when Abi Abdullah called all his ashab and said that the enemies don't want you, they want my neck and my blood. So whoever wants to go is free to go. Some of the maqatil say that the ashab said, Ya Aba Abdullah, Ya Ibn Rasulullah, have we made a mistake? Did we do something wrong that you're telling us to go away from the path of truth, the path of haqq? This is not, brothers and sisters, just giving 5,000 rupees or 10,000 rupees or 20,000 rupees as sadaqah or as donation for the path of Islam. This is putting their entire lives. Their entire lives. And they're getting upset that the imam of the time is telling them that you may leave if you want. And some of the maqatil say that there was complete silence after the imam said this. And the first one to speak up was Abul Fadl al-Abbas. And he said, "Oh Imam, if we go, where would we go?" He can't even fathom, he can't even imagine a path other than the path of Abi Abdullah alayhi salatu wasalam. He says, where would we go? What would life be without you? What would life be after you? It's not worth living. And then there's me, who my imam is waiting for me. But my life continues as if he doesn't exist. As if he doesn't exist. The imam himself is waiting for you and I. Is waiting for you and I. When are we going to start extracting these lessons from Karbala and stop just dealing with Karbala and these Majalis and this Ashura as just a cultural activity? Yes, we do come in. I talked about this yesterday and I'll repeat it, that the barakah and the sawab and the rewards of coming to the Majalis, have no doubt about that. Have no doubt about that. But what you and I are created for is much beyond that. If you want to put it in monetary value, let's say if coming to the Majalis is worth 100 rupees, then being able to nurture these qualities within yourselves is not 1,000 rupees, is not 10,000 rupees, it's in the billions. Because this is the purpose for why you and I were created. This is the reason, this is the purpose that you and I were sent to this world. This is the purpose that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created this entire universe. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. And if I see in my life that there's no reflection and importance to these purposes, then perhaps Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would consider, like we said yesterday, أُولَٰئِكَ كَالْأَنْعَامِ بَلْ هُمْ أَضَلُّ, that this certain individual is not just like an animal, but is actually worse. I wasted my blessings on this person. What if Sayyida Salamullah alayha on the day of judgment says to me that I wasted my son's blood in Karbala for you, because no matter how many sacrifices he gave, it didn't make a difference to you. You cried for him, but if it truly had an effect on you, then you would try to walk on his path. And she knows that I'm not ma'soom, so she wouldn't expect me to be just like him. But she can expect me, with all the blessings that are given to me, to at least try to find out what the philosophy of Karbala is. What the message of Karbala is, and at least try to take a step in that direction. At least try to take a step in that direction. Because the Quran itself does not expect you and I to always be perfect. Ya ibadi alladhina asrafu ala anfusihim. Oh my people who have transgressed the red lines, who've done zulm on themselves. La taqnitu min rahmatillah. Don't lose hope in the mercy of Allah. Don't think Allah is like you people amongst yourselves. The Quran is perhaps trying to tell me that if I make you upset once, you might forgive. Twice, you might forgive. Third time you start getting annoying. Fourth time, you wouldn't even reply to my salam. Don't think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is like this. لا تقنطوا من رحمة الله. His mercy is wasi'. Some of the ulama even quote a hadith in their books where they say even if a person were to kill 70,000 prophets, kill 70,000 prophets, but if they felt remorse and wanted to come back on the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah would welcome them with open arms. With open arms. Imam as-Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Kana ammuna al-Abbas. Our uncle Abbas, what was he like, O Imam? Nafid al-Basira. He had basirat, he had insight. He didn't just deal with deen at a very superficial level. No, he understood deen. He understood deen. What else? Salb al-Iman. He was the pillar of Iman. He had a strong Iman. Just small tests in life wouldn't make him wonder, oh Allah, why me? Little tests in life wouldn't make him wonder, oh Allah, why not the other people? I come to the masjid, I pray my namaz. Look at all those people. They don't even come to the masjid, but their salaries are better, their jobs are better, their houses are better, their respect is more. Because there's not a foundation, because I've never spent time trying to understand Tawheed, because I've never spent time trying to understand Allah, because I don't have a higher level of ma'rifah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, therefore my foundations are shaky. As in another hadith, one of the Imams says, they ask him that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran says, Ud'uli astajib lakum, ask me and I will answer you. Why is it that my du'as are not answered? And the Imam says, لِأَنَّكُمْ تَدْعُونَ مَنْ لَا تَعْرِفُونَهُ. Because you're calling out to someone that you have no ma'rifah. You haven't even spent 20 minutes trying to understand what the concept of dua is, what the conditions of dua are. You just take one verse of the Quran and you think that as soon as you open your mouth, that Allah is your servant. He should come to you with a silver platter, with whatever dua you've asked for. أَفَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِبَعْدِ الْكِتَابِ وَتَكْفُرُونَ بِبَعْدِ. O mu'mineen, do you pick certain verses of the Quran and ignore the other verses of the Quran? Yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, call to me and I will answer you. But in the same Quran, He says, إِنَّمَا يَتَقَبَّلَ اللَّهُ مِنَ الْمُتَّقِينَ. That one of the conditions and the only way Allah will accept from anyone is if they're a part of the muttaqeen. Explicit verse of the Quran. Now does that mean that everyone has to be like Amir al-Mu'mineen? No, because he's the Imam al-Muttaqeen. But at the very least, I should try to enter the domain, the realm of Muttaqeen, so I can at least come within this verse where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, إِنَّمَا يَتَقَبَّلَ اللَّهُ مِنَ الْمُتَّقِينَ. Allah only and only accepts from the Muttaqeen. Of course, just the first level of taqwa. Someone who cares about religion. Someone who learns what the wajibat of the religion are. Someone who learns what the muharramat of the religion are. And then tries. I'm not saying practices. Tries their best to practice. Tries their best to practice. So Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas was someone, according to Imam, someone who had basira. Surah Yusuf, Surah number 12, verse number 108. قُلْ هَذِهِ سَبِيلِي. Tell them, O Prophet, that this is my path. أَدْعُو إِلَى اللَّهِ عَلَى بَصِيرَةٍ. I invite you towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but with basira. With basira. If I just wanted people to, without thinking, come on this path, I would have just taken the sheep and the cows and the camels, because they're much better than people sometimes at following. But that's not what the Quran wants. The Prophet is saying, come to my path. Come to my path. But after understanding, with insight, come with iman, come with faith, come with understanding, come with understanding what this path takes. This is a requirement, and this is what Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas showed us in Karbala. Showed us in Karbala. That don't just come with an understanding. Why is it the case that Abi Abdullah alayhi salatu wasalam, all morning he kept going back and forth and bringing the shuhada back? But when he saw Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas, he held his back and then said, Al-an inkasara dhahri. That now my back is broken. There was something about Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas. There was something about him that was more than the average person. More than the average person. In a hadith, the Imam says, Al-amilu ala ghayri basiratin كالسائر على غير الطريق لا يزيده سرعة السير إلا بعده. That an amil, anyone who does any actions على غير بصيرة, without understanding what Allah wants, without understanding what the consequences of these actions are, without having insight, without having basira, anyone who starts acting without understanding, this is like a traveler who's fallen off the path. Fallen off the path. لا يزيده سرعة السير إلا بعدا. You want to go towards Hyderabad, but because you started moving without thinking which highway you need to take, the faster that you move, the further away you will get from your destination. You will get from Hyderabad. And that is why Islam doesn't want cattle. Islam doesn't want sheep. There's plenty of sheep out there. You have been hand-picked to first of all be the ashraf al-makhluqat, the best of the creations. Then you've been picked to be the lovers of Abi Abdullah alayhi salatu wassalam. And every blessing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives, He wants something in return for that. And He will ask us about the blessings that He's given. He was Salb al-Iman, the Imam says, Abbas. That his Iman wasn't just a regular Iman. He was the core, the pillar of Iman. Imam al-Sajjad alayhi salatu wasalam, in his dua Makarim al-Akhlaq, the first dua that he asked, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, wa balligh bi imani akmal al-iman. Oh Allah, make my Iman not just any Iman, the most complete Iman. Most complete Iman. So we understand from this that there's darajat, there's levels of Iman. And Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas must have been at that top level of Iman, that even a ma'soom is describing Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas as this was the core, the pillar of Iman. The pillar of Iman. And this is when we look at the stories of what Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas went through in Karbala, we see that this is not a person with normal Iman. How many of us, right? Most of us over here are residents of Karachi. And you see what happens on the streets of Karachi, especially for the mu'mineen. Baini wa bain Allah. Bainak wa bain Allah. Between you and your Allah. God forbid, you're in a place where someone comes and asks you, are you a mu'min? And the people next to you So yes, we are. And they claim shahadat. And then the person asks you, tells you, listen, these are your friends, they lay cold in front of you. Do you want to run away? How many of us will stand there and say, no, I will stand for the truth. I will stand for the truth. It's not that easy. It's not that easy. On the night of Ashura, Shimr sent a letter to Abul Fadl al-Abbas. He said, listen, you and your three brothers, here's an aman nama for you. Here's some security for you. You're safe from us. They know that they're going to be slaughtered on the plains of Karbala tomorrow. What did Abul Fadl al-Abbas say? La'anak Allah. May Allah's la'nat be on you. Wa la'ana amanak. And may His la'an be on your aman as well, on the security that you've brought from me. Atu'amminuna wabna binti Rasul la amana la. Are you giving me security? Are you giving me aman? And the son of the daughter of the Holy Prophet, there's no security for him? There's no aman for him? It's not that easy to be able to say these words. And this is what the first point tonight was, that if you and I want to be able to step up when the time is of the test for you and I, then we need to start today. Nurturing ourselves. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. If I want to have that falah, if I want to have that success, then I need to start purifying myself from the inside. Not on that day, but today. But today. And we see that Bani Hashim, for the other companions, were a role model like this. Abul Fadl al-Abbas, the example we've seen. Ali Akbar alayhi salatu wassalam. They say, the Maqtal says, the Tariq says, then when they were on their path to Karbala, and something that you've heard many a times, that Abi Abdullah fell asleep somewhere. He wakes up from his sleep and he says, Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Ali Akbar was close to him and he says, Oh Baba, what's the issue? What's the problem? And he says, there was a munadi, there was a caller in my dream, and he says that this caravan is moving. Yes, but death is following this caravan. Ali Akbar asked him, did he ask him, oh father, should we go back? Oh father, will we be safe? Is this what Ali Akbar cares about? No. Ali Akbar says, Ya abata awalasna ala al-haq. All that's important for him is, am I on the haqq or not? And Abi Abdullah replies, Wallahi nahnu ala al-haqq. I swear by Allah that we are on haqq. And then he says, La nubali, then I don't care. If we're on the haqq, what does it matter? If death comes and falls upon us, or we go and fall upon death. This is not a 40, 50, 60-year-old. According to some riwayat, he's in his 20s. According to what's generally narrated over here, he's 18. He's a youth. Look at the ma'rifah. Look at the ma'rifah. All the Bani Hashim, they weren't ma'asumeen. They weren't ma'asumeen. They showed you and I that this is the path, and these are the things that you need to nurture within yourselves. Nurture within yourselves to be able to pursue this path. To be able to pursue this path. even after Akbar. There's Qasim, 13 years old. Pick an average 13-year-old today. All they care about is their PlayStation, about their games, about this, about that. Are we preparing ourselves and our youth to become the Qasims of our Imam? Are we preparing ourselves and our youth to be able to take the steps, even be a fraction of the ma'rifah that Qasim had? This is what you and I were created for. Not to come and cry over Qasim, not to come and cry over Akbar, not to come and cry over Abbas, not to come and cry over Abi Abdullah alayhimus salam, but to be able to tread the path that they took. This is the purpose of Muharram. This is the purpose of Karbala. This is the purpose of Ashura. And we can self-reflect. Do I look at Karbala like that? Does my community look at Karbala like that? Does my society in this city look at Karbala like that? Does my society in this country look at Karbala like that? Do the mu'mineen around the world look at Karbala like that? And if we don't, then we can read Dua Faraj for morning till night and night till morning. These are just mere words. Just mere words. As Abi Abdullah himself said, Inna nas abidud dunya, that the people are slaves of the world. Ad-din la'iqun ala alsinatihim. Deen is something they just talk about. As long as their life is good, they will come to the majlis, they will go do this, go do that, go for namaz and everything. But if they're tested with al-bala, قَلَّ الدَّيَّانُونَ, Abi Abdullah is saying this. But when they're tested with the true test, those who are the mutadayyineen are very small in number. Very small in number. Sallallahu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. Sallallahu alayka ya Sayyidi ويا مولاي صلى الله عليك يا مظلوم. It's narrated that when Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam was breathing his last and he was bidding farewell to all the household members, there was a point when he says, "O Farwa, bring my Qasim to me." Imam al-Hasan sees Qasim walk in and he starts crying. Qasim is crying, his father is crying as he's spitting out pieces of his jigger with his blood. He says, "Oh Qasim, this is a ta'weez for you that I want you to put on your right arm. If you ever face a difficulty in life, just open this and read it, because your Baba is about to leave this world. Is about to leave this world." If Farwa was there, she must have thought that how can a person like Qasim, who has an uncle like Hussein, who has an uncle like Abbas, how can he ever face any difficulties? How can he ever face any difficulties? The Maqtal says that the night of Ashura came. The night of Ashura came. And Abu Abdullah called all his companions to one of the tents. And he told them, listen, you can all leave if you want. There was complete silence and no one left. Then Abu Abdullah said, if you did not leave, then let me show you your status. Let me show you your stations tomorrow, because all of you will be shaheed tomorrow. And slowly he started showing everyone their station and telling them that you will be shaheeds. In this room, in this tent, there was a little boy sitting in the corner, worried, will my uncle call my name or not? Qasim goes to Hussein, Ya Amma, oh Chacha, oh my uncle, will I be of those who will die tomorrow? The Maqtal says Hussein did not answer him. Hussein just started crying. How can Hussein give permission to the last memory of his brother Hassan to go to the battlefield? How can he give him permission to go to the battlefield? The Maqtal says that فَجَعَلَ يُقَبِّلْ يَدَيْهِ وَرِجْلَيْهِ. Qasim started begging Abu Abdullah. He started kissing his hands and his feet. Oh Chacha Jan, oh my uncle, give me permission to go. Give me my permission to go. ایک وقت ایسا آیا کہ قاسم کو نا امیدی ہونی شروع ہوئی. گئی اپنے اماں کے پاس, اے مادر, چچا جان مجھے اجازت نہیں دے رہے. فروا بھی پریشان کہ کیوں بھلا حسین قاسم کو اجازت نہیں دے رہے. فروا کو یاد آیا, اے قاسم, یاد ہے بابا نے وہ تعویذ دیا تھا اور کہا تھا کہ کبھی بھی مشکل وقت آئے تو اسے کھول کے پڑھ لینا. اے لال قاسم, اس سے مشکل اور کیا وقت ہوگا. قاسم نے تعویذ کو کھولا, دیکھا کہ بابا کی تحریر ہے, منہ سے لگایا, بوسہ لیا. اب پڑھتے ہیں تو دیکھ رہے ہیں کہ یہ جو خط ہے بابا نے اپنے بھیا حسین کے لیے لکھا ہے کہ اے حسین, اگر کبھی ایسا وقت آئے تو میرے قاسم کو بھی اجازت دے دینا کہ وہ جا سکے. قاسم مسکراتے مسکراتے چاچا کے پاس آئے, اجازت مانگی. اب حسین سے نہ نہیں کہا گیا. مقتل لکھتا ہے کہ چچا اور بیٹے حوازو میں بازو ڈال کے ایک دوسرے کو گلے لگا کے اتنا روئے کہ غش گا کے گر پڑے. اب جو ہوش آیا, حسین نے قاسم کو اجازت دی, لیکن کہا اے میرے لال قاسم, اجازت تو دیتا ہوں لیکن یہ یاد رکھنا کہ تمہاری شہادت سے پہلے ایک بہت بڑا امتحان ہوگا. قاسم روانہ ہوئے میدان کی طرف. اتنے کم سن تھے قاسم کہ نہ ذرا تھا جسم پہ, نہ ٹوپی تھی سر پہ. بابا کا امامہ باندھتے ہوئے یہ کڑیل جوان میدان کی طرف. دشمنوں کا راوی کہتا ہے کہ جب قاسم میدان کی طرف آنا شروع ہوئے تو ایسا لگتا تھا کہ کوئی چاند کا ٹکڑا میدان کی طرف آ رہا ہے. اگر دشمن کی نظروں میں یہ چاند کا ٹکڑا ہے تو فروا سے پوچھیں ان کے دل کا کیا حال ہوگا جب یہ چاند کا ٹکڑا میدان کی طرف جا رہا ہو. راوی کہتا ہے قاسم گئے میدان کی طرف, اعلان کیا ان تنکرونی, اگر نہیں جانتے تو جان لو میں قاسم ابن حسن ہوں, حسن کا بیٹا ہوں, قاسم ہوں میں. قاسم نے شجاعانہ جنگ کرنی شروع کی, جنگ کی. مقتل کہتا ہے کہ جنگ کرتے رہے، کافی اشقیاء کو واصل جہنم کیا. ایک وقت ایسا آیا کہ دشمن نے قاسم پہ پیچھے سے وار کیا سر پہ. قاسم کے سر پہ صرف بابا کا امامہ، یہ جو وار ہوا اب قاسم سے سنبھلا نہیں گیا. قاسم زمین پہ آواز دیتے ہیں یا عمّا، اے چچا جان قاسم کی مدد کو آئے. مقتل کہتا ہے کہ حسین ایک عقاب کی طرح تیزی سے قاسم تک پہنچے. دیکھتے ہیں تو ادھر کے گھوڑے اس طرف دوڑ چکے، ادھر کے دوڑے اس طرف دوڑ چکے. ننھا سا قاسم، چاند کا ٹکڑا، لاش پامال ہے، قاسم کی لاش میں پہنچے. اے قاسم، بہت مشکل ہے چچا کے لیے کہ تم آواز دیتے رہے اور چچا نہیں پہنچ پائے. مقتل کہتا ہے قاسم کے بدن کو اٹھا کے اپنے سینے سے لگایا اور خیمے کی طرف. الا لعنت اللہ علی قوم الظالمین وسيعلم الذین ظلموا ای منقلب ینقلبون. ایک گزارش ہے سورہ فاتحہ کی مرحوم حسن خاکو اور خاکو فیملی، درانی فیملی اور امیری فیملی کے سارے مرحومین کے لیے، اور جن صاحب کا اعلان پہلے ہوا تھا جو ICU میں ہیں ان کو بھی مد نظر رکھتے ہوئے ان کی صحت کے لیے فاتحہ.
شمر نے گردنے مظلوم پہ خنجر جو رکھا، کچھ قدم دور سے دیتی رہی زینب یہ صدا، آخری بار بہن چوم لے بھائی کا گلا، شمر خنجر نہ چلا. سنیے مولا مظلوم کربلا کی مصیبت سنیے. آخری بار بہن چوم لے بھائی کا گلا، شمر خنجر نہ چلا. جوڑ کر ہاتھ یہ کہتی رہی بنت زہرا، شمر خنجر نہ چلا. آخری بار بہن چوم لے بھائی کا گلا، شمر خنجر نہ چلا. اور تیر جی بھر کے سے مار چکا ہے لشکر، برچھیاں پہلو میں سینے میں ستم اور نہ کر، خود ہی آ جائے گی کچھ دیر میں بھائی کو قضا، شمر خنجر نہ چلا آخری بار بہن چوم لے بھائی کا گلا شمر خنجر نہ چلا اور آخری مجھ سے ملاقات اسے کرنی ہے ارے ایسا لگتا ہے کوئی بات اسے کرنی ہے کتنی حسرت سے مجھے دیکھ رہا ہے بھیا شمر خنجر نہ چلا آخری بار بہن چوم لے بھائی کا گلا شمر خنجر نہ چلا. سنیں جناب ثانیہ زہرا نے کیا فریاد کی ہے. ہے منتیں کرتی ہوں ظالم تجھے ایسا تو نہ کر عصر کے وقت میرے گھر میں اندھیرا تو نہ کر ارے شام سے پہلے بجھاتا ہے چراغ زخرا شمر خنجر نہ چلا آخری بار بہن چوم لے بھائی کا گلا شمر خنجر نہ چلا. اور یہ دل و جان رسول عربی ہے ظالم ساتھ مظلوم کے یہ بے ادبی ہے ظالم مثل قرآن ہے یہ سینے کو زانوں سے کٹا شمر خنجر نہ چلا ہے سن کے خل مل کی صدائی ہرن میں بچی ارے چل نہ جائے کہیں دونوں پہ لئی تیری چھری دیکھ بھائی کے گلے پر ہے سکینہ کا گلا شمر خنجر نہ چلا میں خاک کربلا ہوں رتبہ میرا جدا ہے میں خاک کربلا ہوں رتبہ میرا جدا ہے میں خاک کربلا ہوں رتبہ میرا جدا ہے بنت علی نے مجھ کو چادر بنا لیا ہے میں خاک کربلا ہوں رتبہ میرا جدا ہے میں خاک کربلا ہوں رتبہ میرا جدا ہے کرتے ہیں رشک مجھ پر کوثر کے بھی کنارے زینب کے سر میں نے 2 سال ہے گزارے میرا ہر ایک ذرہ ہر ظلم کا گواہ ہے، میں خاک کربلا ہوں، رتبہ میرا جدا ہے، میں خاک سب مل کر پڑھے میرے ساتھ نام امام، رتبہ میرا جدا ہے، میں خاک کربلا ہوں، ماشاءاللہ ماشاءاللہ۔ اکبر جوان قاسم غازی سے چاند تارے، زین العبان میری آغوش میں اتارے، یعنی لہو نبی کا مجھ میں ملا ہوا ہے، میں خاک کربلا ہوں، رتبہ میرا جدا ہے، میں خاک کربلا ہوں، رتبہ میرا جدا ہے، روتی ہوں یاد کر کے وہ بے کسی کا منظر مولا چھپا رکھے تھے، مجھ میں جو لاش اصغر، ہاں اس دن سے آج تک نہ مجھ کو سکون ملا ہے، میں خاک کربلا ہوں، رتبہ میرا جدا ہے، میں خاک کربلا ہوں، رتبہ میرا جدا ہے، شوخدائے کربلا کے زخموں کو میں نے چوما، زہرا کی بیٹیوں کے قدموں کو میں نے چوما، اس واسطے ہی میری تاثیر میں شفا ہے، میں خاک کربلا ہوں، رتبہ میرا جدا ہے، میں خاک کربلا ہوں، رتبہ میں ارے اکبر کی لاش پر جب ارے شبیر جا رہے تھے، ارے اٹھتے تھے بیٹھتے تھے اور لڑکھڑا رہے تھے، ارے منظر وہ بھی میری آنکھوں میں پھر رہا ہے، میں خاک کربلا ہوں، رتبہ میرا جدا ہے، میں خاک کربلا ہوں، رتبہ میرا جدا ہے، اے زائرین مولا چلنا یہاں سنبھل کر، قرآن فاطمہ کا بکھرا ہوا ہے مجھ پر، نہ جانے کس جگہ پر کس کا لہو گرا ہے، میں خاک کربلا ہوں، رتبہ میرا جدا ہے، میں خاک کربلا ہوں، رتبہ میرا جدا ہے، توقیر تو بھی کر لے آلے ابا کا ماتم، جو شام میں گئی تھی اس بیردا کا ماتم، ممنون ماتمی کی مخدوم فاطمہ ہے، میں خاک کربلا ہوں، رتبہ میرا جدا ہے، میں خاک کربلا ہوں، رتبہ میرا جدا ہے، رتبہ میرا جدا ہے. بر محمد وآل محمد صلوات.
بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. السلام علیکہ یا نبی اللہ، السلام علیکہ یا رسول اللہ، السلام علیکہ یا ابا عبداللہ، السلام علیکہ یا ابن رسول اللہ، السلام علیکہ یا ابن امیر المومنین و ابن سید الوصیین، السلام علیکہ یا ابن فاطمۃ الزہراء سیدۃ نساء العالمین، السلام علیکہ وعلی جدک و ابیک، السلام علیکہ وعلی امک و اخیک، السلام علیکہ وعلی ولدیک الشہیدین علیین وعلی اخیک ابی الفضل العباس یا ابن امیر المومنین، السلام علیکم جمیعا شہداء کربلا و اسیران کربلا ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ. السلام علیکہ یا غریب الغربا، السلام علیکہ یا معین الضعفاء والفقراء، السلام علیکہ یا شمس الشموس وانیس النفوس، السلام علیکہ یا سلطان یا ابا الحسن یا علی ابن موسیٰ الرضا، روحی و جسمی لک الفدا ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ. السلام علیکہ یا صاحب عز والزمان، السلام علیکہ یا خلیفۃ الرحمن، السلام علیکہ یا شریک القرآن، السلام علیکہ یا امام الانس والجان، الامان الامان الامان، عجل اللہ تعالی فرجک وسہل اللہ مخرجک وظہورک ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ. اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد.